Hello and welcome back to Corks and Controllers. Tis I, Victor, and joining me as always is the cheesy counselor.
Yes, also Victor.
And
we still need to come with your name.
We got to find it.
Yeah, we still need name badges. I will get those name badges. Corks and Controllers. Let's say employee name. Boom. There we go. How do we get paid? And fish and crackers.
Speaking of which, if we seemed a little coffee sneezely and a bit heated, it is because Victor decided to bring us yet another round of tennies.
Yes.
Fish tennies.
With notoriously hot, and I mean blisteringly spicy, little, I don't know, would you call that a hot sauce? Would you call that?
Yeah, it's a sauce.
It's a chili paste, better yet, that's really flavorful, but it's from a little local Thai restaurant, but holy guacamole. It is so good with these little fishies, but my mouth is still numb.
You're going to want guacamole instead. So you can have a little bit of a cooling effect.
Yeah, I've had like 3 cups of water already, and it ain't doing anything, and I could feel the forehead sweat. But anywho, so let's go on. The show must go on.
Yes. And I hope you guys love that Kaylin episode, that little guest format going on.
If you haven't seen our latest post on Instagram, check it out.
Yeah, it's very fun. And yeah, so if you guys like that stuff, if you like to see different guests, or maybe you just want to see Kaylin come back, if you want more of the grandma couch, just let us know. But yeah, I had a story I wanted to tell you.
Yes, I've been dying to hear this. I've been dying to hear it.
Now, my brain might be a little skippy because I was so enamored with this project that a bunch of rich people are trying to get going in California, that like I read the entire website, I read all the criticisms, I read all the backlash, and I read all like the pros of it, just being just like, my God, these people just want to live somewhere else, but they need to stay in California because it's close to like to Hollywood and Napa Valley and like all this stuff. But yes, let me get into it. So the project is called. Oh man, the hot sauce is making me
scatterbrained. Dude, I'm telling you, like we got all clustered fucked here. By all means, yes, we did. But again, 10 out of 10, I'd do it again.
Oh yeah, so but basically, I've read everything there is about this project, but since I was supposed to say it last episode, and I went an entire week without thinking about it, I'm a little scatterbrained. That's what I meant to say. But anyways, I'll get into it right now. So it's a project called California Forever. I'm bad with names, but like it started by some guy named Sam. He's been trying to reform California's infrastructure for like 9 years or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like he even claims himself that for the longest time, for like 5+ years, he was the only employee going around trying to like strike deals with people of like where he can, where he's allowed to buy property. So like he can like, do whatever he wants with it and build towards like the grand vision of what a California city should be. And it turned out what he was doing was buying up so much land that he was making people upset. He was buying land in what it said was eastern Solano County. Mm-hmm. And he was doing it in secret. And he claims himself, where he's just like, well, here's the thing. The reason why I was buying up land next to neighboring fellows who were not happy that I was buying land by the acres over the next, it's like because things like this are kind of like delicate, and you need to like, if you try to be transparent about all this stuff, like people will try to buy land from you and like all this, like his explanation was basically, I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. Because his idea is that he wants to build the perfect California city.
So he wants the California utopia.
He wants a California utopia, a little bit of like a tech utopia where like it's like tech first, walkable city first, and just exquisite and away from all of the pores. That's my interpretation. He never said that, but but the funniest thing about it, which is why the first reason why I want to talk about it, is because the first thing that he releases about this product is like these concept photos about what he thinks it looks like. And the first thing that was immediately apparent about these images is that they're AI generated.
Oh no!
This motherfucker went on.
These guys got 6 fingers.
They got 6 fingers. So like you could tell he immediately went to like ChatGPT or oh god, what's the image generating one called? But like whatever, he went to one of those things, and he's just like, get me like a solid color, like concept photos of what modern California city will look like, and it spits them out. And like there's weird, funny things to make fun of, like a sunset being in front of a mountain for some reason.
Oh Lord, it's one of the okay, it's those bad ones then.
And then images where it's just like hey, a bunch of kids playing in the street, and for some reason there's like 0 sidewalks, and all the houses are like not like the perspective shift of a object being further away appears smaller, but they're all like the same size even though they're going down a street.
I'm upset. This reminds me of that video game you had me playing.
Oh yeah, there you go.
What was that video game called again?
Subliminal.
Oh, I fucking hated that, but love that game. I mean, it was just so infuriating.
But the thing that made me like bend my head backwards, cackling and laughing, is that in these images, this motherfucker essentially wants Tuscany in California. What he wants, and I'll put these images, I'm showing Victor, and I'll put the images right here. He wants like a tech-centered city surrounded by vineyards.
He wants Florence.
There, even better.
He's modeling it after Florence. But the thing is that we're missing the rolling hills of Florence. We're missing the history. Oh my God, tech people, bro, why?
Yeah, and he wants everything to be walkable, and like businesses and regular housing to be like intermixed, like not districtized. And
why are the shadows not appropriate in this? Is this also ChatGPT?
That is one of the Stable Diffusion. That's the image generator. These are all. It's probably like the early Stable Diffusion.
This guy's missing an arm. That lady's dress is going after the chair. Wow! How is a tree sprouting out of a house? I'm not even kidding. Look at the roof right there. There's a tree coming out.
Yeah. So again, this is just another funny story of yet more rich people being just like, I like my town, but like there's people that are not like me near me.
This is ridiculous.
But like I don't want to move because I still have my rich friends here. and instead of a 15-hour flight from Florence back to California just to see some friends, I'd rather just drive to me in about 2 hours. Like that's ultimately what this is. And like,
but you know what's ridiculous about that? There are already cities in California like that. They're just small little towns that, don't like people like him. And they're not about to advertise it. I can't tell you how many different wine regions I've gone to that the towns are beautiful. You got rolling hills, you got perfectly walkable little cities. But I'm not about to splash those out right now. Yeah. If you guys want to know, please message us, and I will get you guys the recommendations to those spots. But yeah, on live air, nah, screw this dude. I don't like him. He's ridiculous. Oh my God, my pictures aren't coming up for me. But what I was going to do was regulate my time, regale the tales of my time being in wine country, because after a certain amazing concert called the Taylor Swift Air Store, we had a little extra time, and we decided, to go over the Golden Gate, go past Petaluma. I forgot what I told you where I was going. Yeah, you sent me a few different places, and I sent you a few different places. Oh, to go eat especially, yes.
Yes. And, gosh, I can't find it for some reason.
So let's see, there's Healdsburg, there's also Geyserville.
Oh, yes, perfect. So we went to Healdsburg.
Oh, I love that little city.
Dude.
Is downtown Healdsburg not the most adorable little town?
It is amazing. Like, all these, like, yeah, exact, perfect. Hillsburg, like, you know, like very, very beautiful shops that are like covered in vines, perfectly walkable, even though there's our cars on the road, but like, it's just like, that's fine. Like,
yeah, and you got restaurants, wineries, shops galore. And then when you go to the outskirts of Healdsburg, just rolling vineyards.
Yeah, we also stopped by Santa Rosa as well.
Also, not as scenic, right?
Not as scenic, not as nice and pretty, but like...
There is Russian River Brewing there.
But yes, there is. And,
please tell me you went there.
We did not have the time.
Oh, you didn't have a fresh Planet of the Elder off tap?
Oh, I did not. No, I know. But we were, because like we don't go to wine country very often. Like I remember the first time I started going there. Obviously, there's the Lagunitas trip to Pelham.
Oh lordy.
But our old undisclosed job was like the first time I was going up there and stuff like that. And now that I went on my own time, it's fantastic. Me and Nicole want to go back.
Did you get to eat at Costeau?
See more towns. The
little French pastry shop.
Oh, I think that was the weird one. That was just like, we close at like 1.
Yeah, they close really early.
And I'm just like...
But they open at like the crack of dawn.
It's like, we won't be able to make it. So sadly we didn't make it.
Oh yeah, I love Healdsburg. I tell people I want to retire in Calistoga out in Napa Valley, but I really would not be upset if I retire in Healdsburg. I mean, Healdsburg has my heart. It does. It's like every time I go up north, if I'm like even within the vicinity of Healdsburg, chances are I'll be there. Costeau is possibly my favorite restaurant ever. Ever. Their Monte Cristo sandwich is like, oh my God. So it starts off with cinnamon walnut raisin bread. So they toast the hell out of that, like almost like a grilled cheese. But on the inside, you have manchego cheese. You have like this Black Forest ham. And then they put like a little bit of raspberry jam on top. And then they like smush it all together like in a panini press. And then they dust it with powdered sugar, and you have a fruit compote on the side. Oh, dude, that's the best sandwich you'll ever have. And with a fresh cup of coffee right before you go out wine tasting and spending an insane amount of wine. Yeah, it's perfect.
God damn it. Well, anyways.
How is it that we've been spiced out and I'm already thinking about food? Damn.
I know. But
we are gluttons for pain and for food.
Yeah, but as beautiful as that is, Victor, are you surrounded by 5G and iPhones and like automatically opening doors or
in Healdsburg?
You know, yeah, Healdsburg is not the tech first city that's walkable.
No, exactly. No,
we need these billionaires.
No, we don't. I'm not saying that the guillotine has its purpose, but really, dude, come on, you know, like.
Jesus.
How is Tusca Utopia in California going to benefit either me or you? It's not.
No.
It's not going to raise our wages. It's not going to give us health benefits or, 401ks. He wants to create the perfect California, raise the minimum wage, give everybody benefits. I don't want to get into politics, but I do believe that if you want to make a perfect California, God damn it, people shouldn't have to work at McDonald's 60 hours a week.
To still barely afford something.
Exactly. Same thing. It's like protect our damn national parks. Stop these goddamn fires.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions about how to make California better, but nonetheless, wine will always come first.
But let's continue to be angry because you have a billionaire.
Oh my God, I do. So if you are in the winosphere, you will know this name. If you're not, get ready for a wild bonkers story. So it starts with a little guy named Rudy Kurniawan, allegedly. Allegedly. So Rudy Kurniawan is originally from, his story starts, I think, in either Taiwan or Indonesia. I can't remember exactly. But, so this guy, shows up out of the blue, right? In the winosphere, people know everybody. Especially at high-end wine auctions, it's a repeat crowd. And if somebody new comes in, it's because they've been vetted by somebody else. So I want to say, I don't have the years down exactly, but I want to say it was the early 2010s maybe. So at Akron Merrill, I believe, is where Rudy makes his first appearance. And he's bidding like $4,000, $5,000 on these bottles, outbidding a lot of the old-timer auctioneers. And everyone's like, who the hell's this guy? And so he starts, buying up these bottles. He starts hosting these lavish parties with all these expensive wines. Long story short, he builds friends in Hollywood and all this other stuff. Like, this guy is well known. Like, I mean, if you worked in the wine trade in between 2005 to 2015, you will know this guy. Not like know him personally, but you know of him. He's about as infamous as another guy named Robert Parker or Jancis Robinson. Mm-hmm. Little side note out there, I personally prefer Aldo Yarrow. Yarrow. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. He's like the best wine critic, but anywho. So, Rudy Cornelian eventually starts doing some sketchy shit. And when I say sketchy shit, full spoiler, he is collecting old labels of wine, refilling them with fake wine, corking them, and reselling them. What? So, this is where wine fraud began, essentially. So, it just so happens that Rudy sells a whole bunch of wine to Acker Merrill, big old auctioneer or whatever. And one of the auctions ends up selling I forget the exact vintage of Ponceau Clos de la Roche. It so turns out that Domaine Ponceau, the current, vigneron owner / of Domaine Ponceau, shows up to the auction and says, you know what's suspicious? This winery's been in my family for generations, and we never made a wine that year with that specific vineyard. Everyone's like, what? And he's like, yeah. That wine doesn't exist. Our family didn't make that. That's a fake. Immediately, shit goes downhill fast. So, there was a bottle of 1847 Chateau Lafite that possibly came from Rudy Cornelian that was sold to a gentleman named Bill Koch. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. But he is one of... I'm assuming you know of him? No. He's part of the Koch brothers.
Oh.
Those really rich people. So it turns out that 1847 was possibly sold by Mr. Rudy Cornelian. Long story short, people start questioning, what are you doing? He's not accepting interviews. His friends aren't giving any advice. And then one day, the FBI raids his house. And guess what they find? A whole bunch of counterfeit shit. They find unlabeled bottles of wine. They find old little labels, from like 1947, from 1925, whatever. Pretty much they find the smoking gun. And at that point, they can't prove that he is, refilling bottles and, selling them as counterfeits. But all the evidence is there. Mm-hmm. So this guy obviously goes to trial. Gets sentenced for quite a few years. He only recently came out. But I have never heard of him ever since. So the joke in this that I wanted to tell you is, if you were going to spend more than $200 on an old bottle of wine, for the love of God, make sure it's real. If not, there's a good chance that guy made it.
Oh, wow. Wait, they're still circulating?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
This is why at our old former undisclosed job, all the wealthy people that would come in would ask me, is this a real bottle? That wasn't a problem 25 years ago.
Wow.
Now, because of this guy, everyone questions, if this $1,500 bottle is a real one. So wineries got smart. I don't have an example here today. I might bring one sooner than later. But a lot of these really high-end glitzy wineries, they now start putting anti-counterfeit stickers on the neck of the bottle, like right here. Mm-hmm. So like if the foil cap was still attached, they would pretty much connect that to that. Mm-hmm. And if that seal is broken, it is no longer presumed to be original.
Mm-hmm. And the foil is only made in one place or something?
Yeah, exactly. And that counterfeit tag, it has like a little QR code, but like not braille, but like touchy, whatever. And so you scan that and then you type in the serial number and then it verifies it for you online. If it doesn't match, not real.
Well, what if you're just so careful taking it off?
I'm pretty sure Rudy would find a way to do that. Mm. Not that he would, but the track record is there. It is there, so.
That's amazing.
So yeah, billionaires fell for this. A lot of them were pissed. I'm like, good for you. Now you know what it feels like to lose money. Mm-hmm. When I lose $20, I'm pissed. Like, I am upset, So when they get it stuck to them for like, I don't know, to the tune of $500,000, I'm like, now you know what it feels like to have an overdraft fee charged to your account. $35 may not mean a lot to you, but it definitely means a lot to me, So it's like, oh, you poor thing, you bought $500,000 worth of wine and it turns out fake. Boo-hoo. It's like, those $35 I could use for gas, I could use for food. These motherfuckers probably have like personal chefs and shit. It's like, what is $500,000 to you, buddy? It's nothing. You literally spent this on rotten grape juice.
So this is our equivalent of getting an overdraft fee, but you don't have the $25. So it charges you another overdraft fee.
Yeah, exactly.
And because you don't have it, it does it again until you fix it.
Yeah, it's like, these are problems that these guys will never know. And it's like, for average people like us, that shit hurts.
Man.
It's like an overdraft fee. Oh my God, dude. It's like these guys are like over here spending $500,000 on disposable income. It's like, oh, come on, dude. You got a few bad bottles of wine? Tell me what it feels like to miss a car payment.
Oh my God.
Or, to be late on your cell phone bill, or not have enough money, to, I don't know, pay for your gas for the week.
Man, I will never forget when I was at City College, and I was like legitimately walking around with like probably like $6 to my name for like a week. No. Yeah, about a week and a half straight, when like I had like a phone bill, my first car bill, and like all my things just weighing down in my head.
Yeah,
and like
it's stressful, isn't it?
And I'm walking down and I'm just like, I need to relieve this stress. Like, money comes and goes. Fuck it, I'm gonna get me a nice churro and a bottle of Mexican Coke, because that's one of my favorite snacks. And I go down to my favorite bakery, get my churro, get my Mexican Coke. I walk outside and I'm just like, oh, got to jostle my keys real quick, and my churro falls on the ground. And when I went to go pick it up, I dropped my bottle and it broke. And I went,
sorry.
Oh, I guess that's the karma. But, well, not the karma, but that's just, it's just a story, But I will say the lady was nice. She saw it happen. She came out and she's just like, she's like, you can just have another churro. I was just like, I dropped my soda too. And she came and give me that face like, oh. Here's the churro. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I'll take whatever I can get.
I was like, I love washing it down, but it's okay.
One of the most embarrassing things that ever happened in my life. Oh my God.
She was probably like, a churro was like $1, but that
Coke is expensive.
That Coke was like $3-4, so no.
I will never forget, I was at Walmart my freshman year of college, and I was working as a janitor back then, making maybe like, I don't know, $200 every paycheck. Mm-hmm. It was a part-time job. I would just work nights. But anywho, it was about to be the spring semester, and I was like, damn it, I need new underwear, I need new socks. So I'm going to Walmart, and I swipe my card and it gets declined, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I log into my bank account, negative $65. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? And sure enough, some stupid electricity bill came through, and I'm like, I'm going to have an overdraft fee tomorrow. And then it's going to be $100. And then my paycheck is only going to be $200, and I have $100 to live off for the rest of the month? And I had to leave my boxers and socks at the register and say, I'm sorry, I just can't afford it. Believe me. And again, this is a problem that these millionaires will never have, and they're over here trying to fucking, I don't know, buy Jefferson's birth year, bottle of wine, and trying to build fancy mansions in Tuscany.
Trying to buy an entire county.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Like, you want to make California better, help the people that are the poorest,
That's right. Let's get into the meat of the show.
Yeah, I know. Here we are, raging against the machine.
That's my favorite band. Before we get into that, let's get into our little fun featured drinks here. We got ourselves an old Forester. Fun fact, a coworker of mine, of ours, came into my apartment, brought this just to opt in. What's that called in poker?
Oh, like bottle share?
Buy-in. Buy-in for the party, contribute to the party. And left it ever since. And this is the exact same bottle. So I don't know how you're supposed to store rye, but
I've never seen this before. Old Forester, Kentucky rye.
So we got that one just to have a little diversity here, a little bit of spirits. Richard, why don't you tell us about?
Oh, yes.
What's going on?
So, good old Levert Freres. So, this is what's known as a Cremant de Bourgogne, a fancy word for a sparkling wine from Burgundy, France.
Yes.
So, I think the breakdown on this is like 48% Gamay, maybe 20% Pinot Noir, and the rest of Chardonnay. Aged on the lees for 24 months. That's a fancy way of saying that dead yeast sit in this bottle for 24 months.
Gross.
All right, gross. But as that yeast is breaking down, there's this fancy little process called autolysis, autolysis, where as the yeast cell or little yeast breaks down, it imparts a toasty, bready flavor. So champagnes and sparkling wines that are on the lees for an extended amount of time, like this, or if you're fancy pants like Cristal, 7 years, or Krug, stuff like that. The longer it sits on these lees, the more toasty and nutty it gets. This one, thankfully, because it's a Cremant de Bourgogne, this is only about like $17. I love this wine though, because it makes me feel fancy as shit, even though it's not a true champagne. Because poor little Gamay, there's a bunch of Gamay in this. So because no.
That's what happens when there's plants in here.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, at least they give us oxygen, right? But yeah, so this is great. I personally love this with really salty foods. Hint, hint.
Oh.
Tinnies.
Got some tinnies waiting for you.
Yes, got some tinnies. But if you really want to feel super fancy and glitzy, the best pairing for sparkling wine, well, in this case, it would be champagne, is caviar, sour cream, and potato chips. Or creme fraiche and potato chips. Mm-hmm. So if you go visit this winery called Schramsberg up in Napa Valley, you can order their premier tasting, and that's what it is. You get potato chips, caviar, and a little bit of creme fraiche.
I love it.
Now that upcharge will probably cost you about $80 per person, but that's what it is to live that glitzy, wealthy life.
Like, we love chips too. All right, now pay the 80.
So yeah, that's why I can't afford that fine stuff. I have to, settle for good old Levert Freres, but I love it. It's fantastic. So let's get the show going here.
Now it's popped open. Now I wonder if it's dangerous to try to get that nice pop on the microphone.
We could try. Let's see. Would you be able to hand me a little towel or something?
Yeah. Because for those who remember episode 1,
Victor, that little one right there.
Victor warned us that people die more times a year.
Yeah, you're more than likely to be killed by a flying cork than you are by a black widow. So let's see if I can.
So apparently something that I've thought of as being like something that might dent my TV, apparently you could also kill me.
So this one.
I think I've opened a total of champagne cork poppers, probably like a total of like 4 times in this apartment. And
that was
there you go. Right. Ooh. And me and Nicole have been terrified every single time. Me because of my nice stuff, and her because she thinks it's gonna like hit the roof and then hit me back in the eye.
Oh, poor Nicole. Alrighty, so let me get you some bubbles in your glass here.
Here we go. Gracias.
So the beating on this, so the little fine bubbles on this should be pretty great because of all the extended time on the lees. This is from the vintage 2019, so it shouldn't be super dark, but it should have a little bit of color on it.
I would like those micro stringy bubbles.
Oh yeah, so they're called in fancy wine terminology, they're called rosary beads. Mm-hmm. So when you see them kind of threading up from the bottom, you typically only see those in real champagne. But if you like fill up your glass enough, like this has some fine beating to it, but it's not too much. Mm-hmm. So now, what do you smell, Victor? I smell toast and almonds and walnuts.
I smell peaches. Do you smell that?
Yeah, there's like peachy, like somewhat honey.
Yeah.
Now, I am a rebel when it comes to this. Wine community, crucify me if you wish, but I will die on this hill.
Uh-oh.
Quality sparkling wine tastes better flat. Yes, I said that. Come after me. Come at me, bro.
That's the first I heard that take at all.
So, when I used to teach wine classes, this was usually at first hotly debated, and then as the classes went on, people were like, well, you actually got you got a point here. So, my reasoning is this. Sure, taste the wine right now. See what you think.
Okay.
So nice, carbonated, lightly sweet, somewhat toasty, nice acidic, flavor to it. Mm-hmm. But my reasoning with bubbles in quality sparkling wine is this. Bubbles are very distracting. They make me feel bloated, and they can also hide a lot of flaws in a wine. When your tongue is focused on the bubbles and the bubbles kind of eviscerate, it's kind of really hard to concentrate on the actual flavors you're getting. You have to really be like studious. Now, I will say this as well. Most people, when they drink sparkling wine, they're not trying to appreciate it. They're just trying to get, drunk. Usually sparkling wine is brought out, to celebrate something. So they shake the poor thing and then they splurt all over people. And it also has this nasty stickiness, that if you do get, splashed on with sparkling wine, you're going to be sticky for a while. So when you are dealing with a true quality sparkling wine like this, or with a finer champagne, it's the heat. I fucking hate the bubbles. It's like I burped right now and I can taste the hot sauce again. And I'm like, this is why I don't like bubbles. Oh, my God. Oh. So, but once you can get rid of the bubbles, this one is just about there. Two things happen. So the first one is that your wine gets noticeably more aromatic. It almost sounds counterintuitive because the CO2...
This poor guy.
God.
I a little behind the scenes. I was asking. I was like, the show. I didn't say directly, but I was thinking. I was like, the show's about to start. This man has 2 cups of hot sauce ready to go inside of his mouth. Not sure it's
it's the bubbles. I'm telling you, they do it bad. But yeah, so 2 things happen when the bubbles leave the wine. The first one is take a sniff of your wine. It should now be a lot more aromatic. You should be able to get more of the cleaner peach, the cleaner brioche, the toast, and almost like a saline quality to it. But the second, it seems counterintuitive because you would think that the CO2 dissolving and rising would give you more aromatics, and it would. Mm-hmm. But usually the CO2 does a better job of delivering the yeast aromatics, the toasty brioche, not so much the fresher fruit flavors. But then the second thing that happens is that once the bubbles are gone, it feels more refreshing. It just tastes more refreshing. It becomes juicier. It becomes more thirst quenching. You get more of the actual stone fruit. You still get the toast, but it's just a lot easier to drink and a lot more flavorful. It's really weird to describe.
I know. I was going to say what I thought sounded dumb in my head, but maybe you know what I'm talking about, is that it now tastes calmer without taking away any of the stuff you tasted before.
Yeah, it's not as aggressive. So I'm telling you, the bubbles are distracting. And so when you are having a nice meal, I hate it when people serve me a quality champagne and they serve it in a goddamn flute. In a flute, it is impossible to get rid of those bubbles because you can't swirl. Mm-hmm. So a proper champagne glass is actually going to be closer like this, maybe a little bit more narrow. And if you go to a fine dining restaurant, a really good sommelier will always ask you, would you like your champagne decanted? And you always say yes for that reason. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my controversial take here, my hot take on sparkling wine. Quality sparkling wine should never be served bubbly. You should always, let the bubbles fade and then enjoy it after that. Now, this will only work with quality sparkling wine. If you're drinking a sub $10 sparkling wine from, I don't know, your local pharmacy store that you plan to make mimosas with, that tastes better with the bubbles. The bubbles are there to hide the flaws. If you let that thing go flat, it is going to taste atrocious. So, yeah, this little trick only works with your quality bubbles. Oh, is it chasing you now, too?
No, it's not attracted to me. But, yeah, all right.
Oh, that's so refreshing.
I feel like I'm abusing myself a little bit. Let me tell you something, Victor.
Yes. Teach me, senpai.
When I joined our undisclosed common work area, I went into it essentially blind. I was telling you about my hilarious interview where I was very anxious about messing up the wine names before I finally admitted to my interviewers that I was just like, wine or beer? Here's my thing. I was like, I would love to learn about wines and spirits, and they're like, you're hired. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I thought, because obviously before we didn't have this place in our town, so I thought they're uppity, but
yeah,
they're fine. And so I go into it, and all of my brand new coworkers are immensely excited about bourbons, and I went, maybe there's something I don't know, because last time I tried a bourbon, I was very young. I had no taste. I was doing weird stuff like slamming fireballs on a train.
Oh my God.
Not by my choice. My idea was to have something nice on the train because we wanted to be sneaky and fun and be like, oh, we're drinking on a train. We're not supposed to. And then they opened the bag and it was Fireball. I was like, oh.
Shooting shots of Fireball on a train. I envy you.
Someone puked, but it wasn't me. And
Lord Jesus answers a prayer, do you know?
So I was just like, maybe there's something I'm missing. As you can see, there is a number of bourbons.
Yeah. You even got the Weller Antique 107.
That is in my possession. And you'll notice that they still have plenty of liquid inside. Because it turns out I don't really like bourbons.
Give me a high five.
So I'm semi-stuck with them. I am in the mood to drink them sometimes. But that's when I know I want to torture my insides.
Can I tell you a secret? Well, not really a secret, but at home, I have so many bottles of bourbon that these coworkers of ours would tell me, look, dude, I know you don't care for bourbon, but buy this. So mind you, my training for this job where we used to work at is we had a 2-week training period. Oh my God, just remembering this is a tiny bit.
The world's tiniest.
Just remembering this is traumatizing because your day would start at closer to like 7:45 in the morning, and immediately, day 1, 50 vodkas. Day 2, 50 scotches. Day 3, 50 tequilas. Day 4, 50 rums. And so forth with gin, with cordials, with whiskey, with bourbon, with Irish whiskey, with Canadian whiskey. Oh, I hated each and every single one of those days because everything fucking burned. Yeah. It's like I know how to analyze the spirit. I can appreciate what it is meant to do, but I positively fucking loathe them. Like, I am never in a mood to get my tongue burned by something that isn't edible. Like that hot sauce we had earlier, that was a burn from hell, but it felt so good. These guys give me a burn from hell that inflicts pain without any pleasure. It's like, and my biggest qualm is that even though I can rip off, oh my God, this has notes of redwood, this has notes of cedar, this has notes of spruce, this has notes of mulch, this has notes of cinnamon, it's either cardamom or brown sugar, or it's maple, or it's almond, or it's pecan, whatever. To me, they all taste the same. It's like, at the end of the day, this is who knows what proof up in hell that they're probably bypassing that is burning my tongue. So, with that being said, I had a show face every single time at our job when somebody would walk by and be like, hey, do you think this is good? I could never honestly say yes. I would always say, look, if you like this kind of style and you're looking for these kind of notes and you like these other brands, then this would be perfect for you. Mm-hmm. But I could never straight up say, this is good, because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe any of them were good. Now, what I will say is that I do have 2 favorite hard alcohols. I love Lagavulin 16. Lagavulin 16 Scotch tastes like bacon. Yes, that is one spirit that I will never understand why I like it. The other one is Monkey 47 Gin. Monkey 47 Gin, that only tastes good because I make it in a fancy-ass Negroni. That is the only reason why. Oh my God, is it still working?
Dude, I had a feeling it stopped. In my brain, I was like, check on it.
And is it going? Oh, Lordy. So, yeah, like I was saying, sorry about the little interim blip there.
I'm upset.
He is very upset. He has bourbon in his hands. Be careful. Oh, actually, it's not bourbon. It's rye. See, there's that training all at play. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's like this job equipped you to analyze every little aspect of a spirit, but still to this day, Monkey 47 and Lagavulin 16 are the 2 things that I will drink in a somewhat comfortable manner. So, how's that Old Forester rye tasting for you?
Well, I'm definitely agreeing with you where, I can at least appreciate the smell. There's a little bit of a cinnamon. The bit of smokiness, just a little bit though.
Ooh, yeah, okay. So, for somebody who's a whiskey aficionado, so get ready for this bit. So, I think the proof on this is what, 55? Or is it 47? It is. Oh, it's actually, let's see, 50% alcohol. So, 100 proof. So, typically, the lower the proof, the less it bites. The higher the proof, the more it bites. But that's not the only characteristic as well. So, bottle or barrel aging also has a lot to do with this. So, when I look at rye specifically, so rye always will inherently be a little bit spicy just by the nature of the grain. If you compare like a wheated bourbon, like say Weller, to, like a rye, you'll notice instantly that the Weller is somewhat more palatable, more subtle, a little bit more glycer on the palate, versus a rye will always be a little bit more attack forward, a little bit more peppery, somewhat of a capsaicin flavor in there. So this one, just on instinct alone, on smelling it, I could see that this has gone through some extended barrel aging. So if you look at the color as well, so I don't think Old Forester is one of those that adds coloring to their whiskeys. I think this is just all a result of, barrel aging. Now, as far as what barrel's being used, oh lordy, let's see. So the lack of dill and coconut makes me assume that this is going to be either Hungarian or French oak. Typically, if it is American oak, you'll get notes of dill, literally like the fish herb / dill pickle dill. Or you'll get notes of like toasted coconut or coconut in general. But this is also like showcasing some pretty nice aromas of like brown sugar. You're getting some of the malt. Also has like this really weird like juniper meets a toasted coriander kind of bit to it, which could be, the rye at play. That is a rye. Okay, so on the palate, actually does not burn as bad as I was expecting. Right now, resting on my tongue is more of like a burnt sugar caramel. Almost like, imagine if you had like, oh my God, it's like baklava. It's like this sweet pastry, but not really like hardcore vanilla. This isn't giving me any of like the... God, this is aggressive.
That's why it's over here now. Somewhere.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. In a blind tasting, I could easily tell this would be a rye because this is very perky. It's very spicy. It almost has like, I wouldn't call it a sugar cookie finish because there is kind of like some cinnamon, some of the caramelized butter aspect to it. Yeah, this is pretty brisk. Now, if you are a rye fan, that should be pretty damn good. I would not say this is like High West rye or, like Bullet rye. But, well, actually, no, I think this is better than Bullet rye. I think this does a better job of showcasing that rye characteristic. As far as cocktails go, I think this would probably be better in your cheaper cocktails. I wouldn't put this in your nicer ones. But, yeah, overall, I think I would give that, 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Pretty solid whiskey. Did I like it? No.
No.
But is it good for what it's supposed to do? Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well,
damn, that's the second time my tongue's been burned today.
I was about to say, like, we're abusing your mouth this episode.
But again, even after that chili, I could still taste. Again, that job did a great job of drilling into here. Oh my God.
There we are. All right. At least we didn't lose the video footage for our bread and butter.
Oh yeah, bread. I was gonna say meat and butter. I like where you're going with that.
Our bread and butter. It's time for our featured pairings. For some reason, I felt like saying it that way. There has to be like some sort of like.
We'll come up with a little tidbit on that one, I think.
All right, Mr. Victor, I've actually been playing video games this week.
Where's the little surprise? Wah, wah, wah. Is anybody surprised? I'm not.
I've finally been playing some video games. Victor's party finally been opening some bottles on his off time as well. So
and also watching anime.
And watching anime. He's learning.
I am.
Oh,
I got called a weeb today.
Your homework for next episode recording is to give us your whole spiel on Jujutsu Kaisen. So there you go.
You will not be disappointed.
A hint for next week. All right. So Mr. Victor, there was a time being like 2 weeks ago.
I don't want to interrupt you too bad here, but I burped right now.
Uh-huh.
It was literally a burp I never want to taste again.
Oh, God.
It tasted like smoked salmon, like hot sauce, and like brown sugar. Christ. Anywho, go on. Wow. See, this is why I don't drink whiskey, man. It ruins everything. No, I don't mean that. It just ruins a perfectly good pairing. Like,
I'm just laughing so much because I've had many bad combination burps, so I know the feeling.
Anywho, go on. So you were sitting, lounging.
So this was a few days ago, maybe a week ago, but I like to make it sound interesting in saying that there was a time ago when you would whip out your phone and you'd play your most favorite mobile game of all time.
Angry Birds.
And what was the other one? Merch Mansion?
Oh, yeah, Merge Mansion.
There we go. And I'd be like, why has the gods forsaken you? Like, what is going on over here on your phone? What you're playing is blasphemy to the entire video game industry. And your catchphrase would be like, let me live.
Yeah, exactly. Angry Birds has not hurt a soul, man.
But today I get to eat my words because there's a game I've been playing
on your phone.
That is, the platform is a mobile phone. I've been playing.
Shocked Pikachu face.
I went straight to the Google Play Store, went and tapped an icon that I haven't tapped in a very long time, which is the gaming icon, because I've learned from the intranets that last week a game has finally came out that I've been waiting for. The only game that can possibly make me turn my phone sideways and hold it as a controller, and that is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis.
I thought you were going to say Neon Cat. No. I was like, you have found the way of the Jedi. Meow, 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 meow. Anyway, go on.
There was another game that almost got me close to turning my phone sideways as well. That's called Honkai Star Rail, but it didn't quite do it. Not yet. But so this game did.
Final Destination?
And let me tell you why that is.
No, Final Fantasy, right?
Let me tell you why this is. The base title is called Final Fantasy VII. Now, Final Fantasy VII is one of my cherished all-time favorite video games.
This is the one with not Pikachu, Mickey Mouse, and...
That's Kingdom Hearts.
Damn it. I tried.
Cherished game of all time. I love the Final Fantasy series. I'm not a hardcore fan in the terms of like I didn't play this super old like NES versions or any of the updated versions as well. My very first game in the series was Final Fantasy VII, and is still my most favorite to this day. Like I played 8, I played 9, I played all the way up to the newest game, which is like 16. Final Fantasy VII is still in my heart, and it's so popular to the point where they've made spin-offs and adaptations of this same game for what feels like 20 years now. And so the newest edition of that is called Ever Crisis. And the way this game works is that it is a compilation of Final Fantasy VII stories, which is the base story of Cloud, Barret, and Tifa being eco-terrorists, literally. They fight off corporations and blow up their stuff because the oil, which is called Mako, is literally the lifeblood of the planet, and these corporations suck it up to power cities and stuff like that. So they go around blowing up reactors that is sucking out Mako to save the planet. So it's literally a story about eco-terrorists. It's hilarious. And look at this little girl over
here. Yeah, you said Mako, and here she comes, ready to eat his food.
Yeah. Oh yes, keen ears will realize that I named my cat Mako. Just that's how much I love this game series. But anyways,
I think she senses a cursed spirit over there.
I think she does. And so as a compilation of stories, it is the main game story. There's also stories from the prequel Crisis Core. There's also stories from the super prequel, which is called First Soldier, which regales the tale of the main antagonist Sephiroth in his youth. So there's 3 stories. They're in compilation style, which means you only play like minutes of the stories at a time, which is perfect for mobile games.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can play like for like 5 minutes and then turn it off.
Which is what I do.
Which is what Victor does. So
how much is it?
It is free.
What?
Because, Mr. Victor,
there's ads.
No, the ads are optional. You'd be surprised to know. But I was telling you earlier before the show started that there is a genre of anime games called gachas.
Oh, lordy.
This game, the way it makes its money is by putting all your favorite nostalgic-driven characters in fun and or sexy outfits that you can buy with real money. We're talking about putting the fan favorite busty Tifa in like bikinis that you can pay for. If you wanted to, you can pay like $6 to see your and
prance around a bikini. That made you red. Oh my god.
I'm already been red because of the chili and the but I will admit that Tifa does make me blush
in a bikini.
And or you can see Cloud in a weird maritime like sailor outfit that's like has armor all over it too. So it is fun to play dress up with your favorite characters. But you'll be happy to know, for me to report, that I've yet to spend 1 cent on this game, and I'm about like 10 hours in. I haven't played that much. I probably play for...
That's not playing that much.
Because most days I play for 30 minutes because I'm just like, all right, other than the stories that I love and familiar with, it's a little bit boring.
Wait, your phone battery doesn't get killed on that? 30 minutes at a time?
No, actually. What I was going to say is sometimes I'll play 30, but how I ended up at 10 hours, because one day I was waiting on my parents. I was at my parents' house just waiting on them they went off to drive somewhere, do some errands, and then came back because I had to fix their laptop. And I waited a very long time, and I ended up playing that game for like 4 hours.
On your phone?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And my battery is fine, I'll have you know. And but let me tell you more about this game so you can prepare your pairing.
Yes.
So as I told you, Final Fantasy is a story about eco-terrorists. They try to save the planet, but the story evolves from there. During these adventures of trying to save the planet, Cloud realizes that his most fearful rival is still alive. His name is Sephiroth. And the reason why Cloud is very fearful to know that this person is still alive is because there's just like some amount of like trauma that goes on when this individual's around. He's very powerful. He has a very long samurai sword. It's like 2 people long. he like stab you from across the living room. And yeah, he's just a really bad guy. And his job, why he's so scary, is because his plot, once he realized that he's like a genetically modified super soldier, the way they made him that way is from taking cells of an alien sample that landed from space, sucking out the juices and putting it into soldiers. So he has like alien fucking blood and DNA all up in him that makes him super powerful. And so that made him lunatic in the brain, and now he thinks that alien species is his mom, and he wants to bring his mom back to like the full restore body and the power, and this fucking monstrosity has the power to create a material which is an orb of power to summon a meteor to destroy the planet.
How does this game make you feel? What range of emotions do you feel when you play this game?
Oh, I feel all of them. I feel joy. I feel despair. I feel anger.
Okay.
Now, I explained a lot of things right now. Do know that this is a Japanese RPG that is well over 30 hours. And if you do all the extras...
For us newbies, what does an RPG mean?
It's a role-playing game. A role-playing game means that you play as characters, whether they be fantasy or whatnot. You're role-playing as them. So, plus there's like stats involved, you know? You can be a little weak clay, but the more you fight, the stronger you get. So you go from being like level 1 all the way to like a level 100, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, you know?
I still have yet to play that game.
So yeah, do you have a whine about eco-terrorists that are scared of a monster summoning meteors to destroy the planet that is also full of bikinis and gachas and is on your phone?
I do. So, I actually have 2. So one is a beer, one's a wine. I'm gonna start with the beer.
Okay.
The reason why I asked you how does this game make you feel, you said I feel all the emotions. There is one beer that a lot of people laugh at, my friends included, that I absolutely adore. And this beer is there for me whenever I need it. When I'm feeling angry, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm playing Angry Birds, when I'm playing Merge Mansion. I keep this well stocked in the house because it is just such a cheap, easy drinking beer that doesn't get a lot of respect that I think it should. So, if you didn't know, I think I would say I'm above average versed in the world of spirits, be it wine, spirits, beer. I have multiple different certifications in each of the fields, but for some reason, I like this beer. People don't respect it. I do. Therefore, you should too. If you don't have my credentials in beverages, please don't come at me. If you do, go fuck yourself. Not just kidding. So, the beer I would pair with this game is so simple, yet so enjoyable. This beer just makes me feel great for all the different ways. Again, it's cheap, easily accessible, and damn good. Covers all the range. And it goes by the name of Coors Banquet.
Ooh.
Coors Banquet is a whopping, 60 cents a can, if that, for a 30-pack. No, I think it's probably closer to 20 cents. I don't know. You could buy a 30-pack at Winco for $20. So,
wow.
Coors Banquet is just such an all-encompassing beer. But here's the kicker. It's made by a company that I would call a little bit eco-terrorist. Coors doesn't necessarily care much about the environment, I would say, or they haven't done anything to dictate that, But this is kind of like, I forget what that study was done where, like, you fall in love with your abuser.
Stockholm Syndrome?
Is that what it's called? Yeah, so that. Coors Banquet is affordable, therefore I like it. It tastes good, therefore I like it. They're fucking over the planet. Oh, but the beer's still good, so hide my face and don't look at me because I am condoning all the stuff they do. So, that's how I feel about that. Now, for a wine beverage, there is a whole category that this reminded me of. Thankfully, or regretfully, these guys are on the opposite end of eco-terrorism. They're the ones getting abused by the ecosystem in various different ways.
Oh, man.
And the end result is yummy across the board. So the category is sherry. Have you had many sherries?
I haven't.
So sherry is this weird little thing of a wine. So sherry is a lot like Riesling in the sense that the styles are endless. There's Fino sherry, there is cream sherry, there is Amontillado sherry, there is Pedro Jimenez sherry. There is also, depending on the brand that you're buying, there's also like, the Reserva sherries. There's also like your vintage sherries. There's like your year designated sherries. But anywho, so sherry almost always starts off with a grape called Palomino. So there is this long thing that I'm not going to get into right now that if you want, you can Google the ways of making sherry. It involves a little something called flor, which is like this, for lack of a better term, protective layer of microorganisms that settle on top of the wine that protect it from air. If that remains intact, the wine is pretty much good. It does get oxidized, but it doesn't get as bad as it could be. Now, people that remove that, oh yeah, that's going downhill fast. So, there are producers in, let's see, if you're in Spain, it's sherry. If you're in Portugal, it's Madeira. If you are in Italy, it is Marsala. They're all made the same exact way. So, for your wines in sherry that are known as Pedro Jimenez, this was the first one that came to mind because Pedro Jimenez is so thick, so syrupy, so sweet. It doesn't really go bad. It's a wine that you want to pour maybe a little bit smaller than this portion. And it's nice because you can pour it straight from the fridge and you can just sit back, go on your phone, play some Angry Birds or this game, and just have a sip or two, play the game, put it down. You're done with the wine, done with the game, on you go. Now, if you really want to experience the full range of emotions, then at that point, I would highly suggest you get a Fino sherry. Fino sherries also come in half bottles too, so you don't have to worry about that. These do go bad a little bit faster. But Fino sherries are like these salty, saline, mineral-driven little things. So Fino sherries are really good with salty foods. I would also recommend an Amontillado. Amontillados are great because Amontillado sherries will taste more like fucking bourbon.
This episode's torture.
This bourbon ruined me, man. I didn't even drink it, and it's still messing with me. But Amontillados are great because they're super nutty. Like, I mean, a good Amontillado will almost taste like a chocolate chip cookie. They're not sweet. They're just really, really nutty. You never think of a chocolate chip tasting nutty but then you remember that what is chocolate? It's a nut that has been roasted. When you put the butter, you caramelize or whatever when you're baking it. There's that. And then there's Pedro Jimenez. If you can afford to get the 3 of them, just keep them in your fridge, pop them open, and drink them whenever you want.
I love it.
Now, where does the eco-terrorism come into play? Poor Amontillado and Porfino. If you are making this in the abusive method, you literally set these barrels out in the sun and bake the hell out of them. Mm. And I mean, if you're in Portugal, Madeira specifically, oh my God, these poor wines, man, they just sit, in 115-degree weather day and night. They are getting abused, but Madeiras, oh my God. They're good, but for a different reason. For this specific game, I think sherry's the way to go. You could go to your local wine shop, ask for your local sherry nut, because believe me, sherry is good. It can be good, but for the love of God, please don't spend $6 on a jug. Cooking sherry is not real sherry. Just like, I don't know, Cook's is not real champagne. Just like, I hate to say it, but Bud Light is not real beer. So, spend at least $10 on a sherry. Believe me, you will not regret it. Tell the wine person you're with what you like, and they will find you one that you like. But that would be my official pairing. Man,
I feel like you were also abusing a lot of people right now. You're being a little bit of a terrorist if I'd just be like the one thing that is always correct 100% is don't drink cooking specific wines, but to just straight up be like, hey, he's not allowed to do that.
Oh.
And my cat, sorry, and but to straight up tell Bud Light drinkers that it's like, you're not real. Nothing you do is real.
So
I love it.
If you can afford to drink Bud Light, you can afford to drink Coors Banquet. Come at me, bro.
Okay, so here's at our common undisclosed workplace, people would constantly ask me as a receiver, where's the Coors? I'm like, Coors Light? They're like, no, you fucking piece of trash. Where's the Coors Banquet? And I'm just like, oh, I mean, we have like the 12 pack. It's like, no, I want the big 30 pack. I want the tall can. I want like everything, whatever we had readily available. For some strange reason, they didn't want it. They wanted either the tall cans or the big packs.
Yes, those big packs, like I said.
And then one day, one case, some weirdo pack got like messed up, and I felt like it was. And sometimes when I have some money, and I feel like it's a waste, I was just like, well, I'm not gonna throw it out. Just tape it up and put it over there. I'll buy it later. And I bought it out of sheer curiosity. I was like, why are people yelling at me over this Coors Banquet? And I tried it and I was like, all right, fine.
It's not a bad beer, right?
You don't have to yell at me, but I get it.
I think bang for the buck, that's the best beer that's out there. And I have beer snobby friends that look at me and they're like, really? And I'm like, and? Coors Banquet is delicious.
Let me live my life.
Exactly. It's like if I am on a budget and I want to drink a good beer that's going to, I don't know, satisfy the craving I'm craving, it's great. And you get 30 of them.
And if you're not alcoholic, that'll last you more than 30 days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I was not in the silly beer competition, I think a 30-pack would probably last you a year. Because I'm not in the mood for a beer every day.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like, oh my God. If that beer competition guy is watching this, you've lost. Just give it up. I have a 123 beer lead on you, man. You're never going to catch up. So just give me my damn Montebello already. Let's call this done. But anywho.
And share the podcast, please.
Yes, please share the podcast. Post it on the socials. Let them know that I am losing my beer competition to this guy and his co-host.
Apparently, I'm in this now.
Yes, you are now invested in this.
I think since this show started, I had like 6 beers. Where am I in this leaderboard?
Oh, Lordy.
Am I dead last?
No. Well, yeah, because I think he's... So I'm currently at 400 and something beers.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently at like 280 something.
Oh, man. I'll never catch up.
You will.
I have to become alcoholic to catch up.
No, yeah, you will. You will. If it's a 2 ounce pour or more, but it has to be a single serve.
Oh, dude, I love tasters. Sometimes when me and my friends have a fancy day, I was just like, all I want is a taster. I don't even want a full cup.
Yeah, it just has to be 2 ounces or more, but it has to be a single serve. So, like, if this was a bottle of beer and I wanted to count, I have to finish the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But if I'm at a restaurant and I order a taster of 2 ounces, that counts too.
Nice. There you go.
There just can't be any beer wasted. That's the thing. Oh. So you can go to a restaurant, and order a flight of beers. If you're doing 12 beers, 12, 2 ounce pours a week.
I love flights. They're so fun.
I do love flights too, even though I don't really like beer. But whatever, here we are. So alas, fun. I digress. Shall we carry on?
Why am I yawning? I had coffee and chilies.
And bourbon. And whiskey.
All right. Now we're on the next part of the show where you give me your vibes and I match it with my vibes.
So my vibes currently, as of late, let's see. What was the most yummy wine I had recently?
We're going yummy.
We're going yummy in my tummy. So I was eating chicken wings. Maybe this was Tuesday night. Or was it Monday night? I can't remember exactly. But I was having these delicious deep fried wings. So a chicken wing is already a beauty. It's an art piece,
Of course.
But when you double deep fry it, it turns into a different animal. It's like you have this super crispy skin. The meat is, super chewy, but like not moist in any way, but it's also not like tough. And then it was just absolutely drenched in like this really weird, it wasn't lemon pepper, but it was like lemon something. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking like, man, what wine would taste really, really good with this? And you'll never guess what one.
Man, I don't think I can guess.
Oh yeah, you can.
Syrah. No, not Syrah.
I was going to
thinking. No.
I was about to be like, Syrah and chicken wings.
There was a wine in my head, and I said the wrong grape anyways. No, what is it? No, it's a white blend. What was that called? I'm not going to get it.
So, I'll give you a clue. Transylvania, but not the red one.
Oh, is that we've had
the winery.
We've had their winery before on the show.
Yes, but not this specific wine.
All right, give up.
Rekas Castle Fetiashka Regala. That goes for a whopping $6.99 a bottle.
Nice.
So, this wine, oh my God, where to even begin the beauty of this wine? So the price, number one. The price is going to go bonkers nuts, just like their Pinot Noir, which we've also had. Not on the show, but we've also had that Pinot Noir. This is just such a budget-friendly wine. But what I absolutely love about it, you've had Gewürztraminer, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like that super floral, perfumey, whatever.
You've made sure I had one.
Yes, I usually drag people to the classroom, and I'm like, you are going to taste this today because you are going to taste this. But anywho, my only beef with Gewürztraminer, or chicken, I guess, and the joke didn't go as I wanted to. You could put crickets in there. Okay. It's because, you can't pair beef with Gewürztraminer, but you can pair chicken with Gewürztraminer. Dun, 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 dun. But
wine humor is right in.
Yes.
Podcast at speaky.net.
Yeah, exactly. So my only qualm, or I was going to say beef, but chicken. My only beef with fuck it, whatever. It's done. What's done is done. Okay, I'm gonna stick with this. Don't pair beef with Gewürztraminer, but I'm using it in my sentence. My only beef with Gewürztraminer is that it can be one flabby ass little wine. You get wonderful aromatics, you get beautiful texture, but god damn it, there is no acid. And so it feels like you are drinking almost like this perfumey olive oil in a way. It's like it tastes good, smells good, but man, imagine sipping an olive oil after having a salty wing. You'd be like, this doesn't taste good. No. I mean, it smells great. In theory, it would work, but it just doesn't work. For you people out there, imagine like you're having cereal in the morning, like say your Frosted Flakes, and then you decide after each bite to have a spoonful of pudding, and then keep on going. Is that pudding really helping you? No. So, going back to these illustrious chicken wings. So, this Fetiashka Regala In a blind tasting, I could confuse it for a Gewürztraminer, except one thing. This Svetioshka Regala has zesty acidity. Mm. It's juicy. It's refreshing. It goes down so easy. So imagine if for a minute you could imagine the flavor of Gewürztraminer with the aromatics, but the acidity of a Sauvignon Blanc. In a fool's world, this would be a morphed Riesling. It's aromatic, it's juicy, kind of sweet, really fruity, but it's not Riesling. It's Svetioshka Regala. And because it's coming out of Romania, you're only paying a whopping $6 a bottle. Or $7, $6.99. But yeah, so this wine, oh my God, it smells like peaches. It smells like oranges. It smells like jasmine flowers. The texture is like rich and, velvety, but also simultaneously juicy and refreshing. The main notes are like peach. You get like some cantaloupe, maybe some honeydew. The finish is just wonderfully pure. I mean, these little lemon, whatever the hell they were, chicken wings were just outstanding with this wine. But if I had to choose one word to describe this wine, I don't know. Comfort. It's comfort. It could be a Costco roast chicken. It could be a fish taco. It could be a cup of ramen. This is a wine that just, I hate to equate it to this because this is so wrong, but it's the Coors Banquet of the wine world. It's just so comforting. It's it's nice to know you have 2 or 3 bottles at home, because if somebody comes over, open this wine. They're going to love it. If you have an impromptu, I don't know, you're having a rice bowl, with some sardines on top and a little bit of hot sauce, have at it, bro. It's going to taste great. Or if you really want to be fancy, get yourself some lobster tails, dunk them in butter, have it with this wine. You're going to enjoy it. So, I pose to you, Mr. Victor, what would you pair with this?
Now, a lot of people might be watching the video version, which is hopefully working. Hello. And thinking that I'm just stalling, but I only just forgot the name of the anime. So I'm pretty sure I just saw it. There it is. Okay. I saw the image, but I didn't see the name. But now I have it in my head. Okay.
So, please don't say Naruto.
It's not Naruto.
Oh, thank God. I can't do the little chicken run. So
I like how thematically you're still on this chicken.
So before we get to the actual pairing, little side story. So I was telling Victor before we were, actually doing this whole thing, the podcast, that at work I told him that I was starting to watch anime, and someone literally, actually, no, 2 different people did the little motion of how Naruto runs, but they put their little, hands back like this. I don't know if you can see my hands, but they did the whole little pose. And I'm like, that looks like a chicken that's running away. And that's why I was all like, if Victor pairs this with Naruto because of the chicken joke, I will honk like a goose. But anywho, go on, sir.
So the anime I have in mind when you're describing, comfort obviously was the big adjective going in. Is that an adjective?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
comforting.
Make sure I still have my grade school level grammar. But then there is some sweetness. There was a bit of, did you say tropical, or am I mixing up episodes?
It's like peachy, cantaloupe, honeydew.
All right, perfect. Then this will land. Now, Victor, you've been watching anime lately, and so far it looks like you're liking the action stuff. People may be memeing on you about Naruto, but you're watching Jujutsu Kaisen. You're somewhat interested in the Hellsing. Yes. I told you if that's the case, then you might like some Demon Slayer. You might like some Chainsaw Man and stuff like that. But if you ever hit this road where you're just like, I need a palate cleanser, I need to go the opposite direction of violence and action. I might need some comfort in my life.
Aww.
And as a person who also loves to cook and or pair, my wines with delicious foods, this one might be up your alley. Maybe. It depends how much you can handle. How do you feel about children? Okay, maybe this isn't it.
I hate children with a bloody passion.
You're going to hate anime children.
Okay, let me tell you this, people of the world. When a little kid walks up to you and they touch you and their hand is sticky, how does that make you feel? It doesn't make you feel comfort, right? You think, what in the blithering fuck is on your fingers, and why are you sticky, and what did you touch, and why are you touching me?
But that's
And they're tiny little hands, like, ew, like.
That's the commonality. Kids' hands are always grubby with something.
But they're sticky.
Sticky. They're always sticky and grubby.
It's gross.
Who knows what they're doing?
That, and then when they're screaming at grocery stores, oh my God, no. I have a dog. I love my dog. But anywho, I may put up with anime children if you think this is great.
Well, actually, anime children might be worse because they can talk, but their voices are very high pitched, and they're like, and the voice actors are like screaming. They're like, "Rah!" And then you're just okay. So,
okay, no, but let's go with this. You said comfort. I may not enjoy this anime, but you said this is a comforting.
This anime is all comfort.
Is it like Cooking Mama, but anime?
The entire thing. Yes.
Oh.
I'm glad you're following. Okay. This anime is called...
Although I don't like it when that lady yells at me because I've messed up a meal on Cooking Mama. But
anywho. No, it's so bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I disappointed her.
I love it. I love that you felt the trauma from it. That's hilarious.
Cooking Mama, you live in my mind rent free.
Cooking Mama, how about you come over to my...
Right? I know. Like, fucking show me how to make this spam musubi.
I'll show you what's cooking. Right. Anyways, so the anime is called Sweetness and Lightning. Now, obviously, that's a thematic titling. Just don't tell me what the theme is. But I'll tell you what the show is.
Yes.
It is a show about a single father and his daughter. The mother passed away, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But the reason why that's important to the show is because the daughter absolutely loved the mother's cooking. The mother's cooking was sublime, amazing, nostalgic, all the words. And so after some time passed and they're sort of coming out of that grieving period, they're just like, hey, daughter, what would you like to eat? And almost every single episode, she's just like, Mama used to cook this. And the dad, he's kind of like an average Joe. He's just like, I mean, I can hold a knife. I know how to cut well. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really that good at cooking. I only helped your mom out. So every day they're learning how to cook something new. Mm-hmm. And the person who's assisting with all this cooking is the student of the father is a teacher. Mm-hmm. And one of their students is really good at cooking. So sometimes they would go to that student's restaurant because their parents owned a restaurant, mm-hmm. and they would cook whatever the daughter was feeling like that day. Mm-hmm. And that is just full slice of life, just comfort wrapped in a big warm blanket.
That does sound fun. But why you made it seem like this show was about children? It's just one girl, right?
It's just the one girl.
Yeah, I could put up with that.
But
I thought it was like a bunch of kids, and I'm like, ugh, blonde girls.
She has a lot of things to say. I find it adorable. Who knows how you'll feel about it? Mm-hmm. But anyways, and so yeah, every episode is just well animated cooking.
So, if our viewers wanted to follow along with this anime and have like a little meal with this bottle of wine, what kind of meals would you suggest?
Oh, a meal with it.
I'm assuming simple meals, like, I don't know, maybe, some good sardines over some rice and some hot sauce. Maybe a little cup ramen with a fried egg.
I mean, there is that. But I feel like it's strange. This child has a more complex palate than I ever did at almost any age. I feel like only in the past, 7 years, I started eating, really nice things.
Like actual proper food.
Actual proper foods.
No longer just a slice of Little Caesars and call it a day. Well,
growing up, it was just my mom's Mexican food, which is sublime. Subliminal, even. And just whatever. Hot Cheetos and fucking
churros and Coke.
Churros and Coke going into my mouth holes. But this kid eats braised octopus and stuff.
Oh wow!
She's eating this one episode they learn how to make a roux for this certain fish dish and stuff. I was just like, man, I didn't like fish. I mean, it is Japan. They are surrounded by food.
Is it like moulis on
called the ocean? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
This show does seem interesting, if anything, for the whole cooking aspect to it.
Oh, yeah. The cooking part is the best part.
Now, could you say a viewer could learn how to make that meal from watching the show?
You can probably get pretty close. They do spend some time learning how to prepare and handle some of the ingredients when it's like an extra complicated dish. The rest of it, they might blow over, where it's just like, hey, be careful. This is the first time you're holding a knife. Let me show you how to...
I've heard really, really good things, and maybe because you watch more anime, you might know this better than I do, but I've heard really, really good things about Japanese egg dishes. Mm-hmm. As in, like, either an egg sandwich or, like, an egg sushi roll. Or, like, I think, like, they put the scrambled, like, liquid egg in a pan, and they put a piece of toast over it, then they flip the egg over the toast, and then, like, put, like, Japanese ketchup on it or something. I don't know. I just feel that eggs are very prevalent.
That last one's a bit of a meme, but yeah, there's a lot of eggs. There's a lot of egg and fishes in Japanese dishes. Yes.
Damn, we could be like part Japanese after this,
dude. Oh my god, if you want to go down a fucking internet wormhole, look up like bento box like designing. People like. Because obviously the easiest trick is like to cut up a piece of like a hot dog end so it looks like a little happy octopus.
Oh yeah, my college roommate used to do those and then put them in a frying pan and then they like spruce up. He would call them salchipulpos.
Yeah, there you go. But there are some people who are like straight up like make like dioramas with bento boxes where it's just like...
I thought the whole point of a bento box is to be convenient and easy to eat.
I know, but like when you go fermenting bento boxes every day, that would take you like 15 minutes to make in total. They're just like, let's fucking turn up the difficulty slider.
What is it, like a little radish flour, with like, I don't know, an orange cut into a boat?
I saw a bento box that was like a scene from that anime we were talking about before, My Neighbor Totoro, where it's just like there's a Totoro, all the little mini Totoros, and like one of the girl characters and like a tree behind it. Well, that's like...
As food?
Yeah, they'd be like a broccoli for the tree and then but they would make rice shapes out of all the other characters. And like... They'll use like the ketchup or whatever sauces, like Koopy or whatever, to like make like little faces.
Maybe
they go fucking hard.
Maybe the next time we do a podcast next week, we should have like a little Japanese themed pre-snack.
Oh, you paused on pre and it made me uncomfortable. Maybe you don't understand that one.
The pause and pre?
Put another set of credit kits in here.
Yeah, it's like the wine jokes and the anime jokes are falling flat today, folks. Nut. But I really do think that'd be a good idea. I don't know where I could find Japanese ketchup though.
Yeah, I mean, there's Koopy mayo, but that's obviously not ketchup.
Because like, imagine a nice little, bowl of rice, and then I don't know. This is where my creativity runs out. I would just put like a little piece of fish on top. And then some, I don't know, Japanese chili crisp, and then that's about it.
I absolutely love making omakase, but I fuck it up every single time.
I think I know what that is. Don't tell me. I think I know what that is. So, it is some kind of rice that's been blended with other ingredients, and you put that on a plate, and then you try to make an omelet, but you like flip it in a certain way so that it's like not fully cooked on the inside. Then you put it over the rice, and you slice it open. It's supposed to dribble over, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Fucking score. Oh my God. I don't even know where I watched that, but okay.
There is different styles of omakase, but that one's like one of the more popular ones. There's also like making it look like a little like fillet of something and then like just draping it over. And like maybe you can write in ketchup like, have a good day.
My goodness. Yeah. I don't know if I can make that. That sounds intense.
It seems so simple, and I'm not talking about the animes. I'm talking about like I'm looking at videos or recipe like books, and I'm just like, I can do that in my sleep, and I'll do it. I'm like, fuck.
I mean, I could see how that's stressful because you got to time that perfectly, and you got to like wiggle at the right place, and then you got to make sure it doesn't like it actually seals, but it doesn't cook. That's stressful.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I should do? I should look for Japanese tinnies.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they make them with like Japanese, and we could put that over a bowl of rice.
Well, like my joke earlier, they're surrounded by food that's called the ocean. There's so much seafood. Probably have a wide variety of seafood.
if you're feeling real bold, I got canned octopus at home from Spain.
I have octopus.
You have canned octopus?
Yeah, I was in Colombia.
And how was it?
It was not.
I was gonna say, yeah. I'm like, the one I have is made by Matisse, and that's supposed to be one of the better octopuses.
We went to gosh, I'm forgetting what it's called, but the area was like their version of like a historic old town that's like been renovated, so there's just like business everywhere. And there was this fancy restaurant that we went to that had like an indoor outdoor plaza thing, and I thought it was like, I was looking around being like, oh my god, we're about to spend like hundreds of dollars here. And I'll be like, you know what, since I'm not paying the bill, and they literally said to my face, like they pretty much grabbed my arm and went like, get anything you want, Victor, I don't care. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, give me some octopuses. It was very firm.
Oh, was it very chewy?
It was very chewy and lacked a little bit of flavor. To Nicole's father, who does like my content, whatever I make, it's not your fault. Thank you for taking me out. I will forever remember this trip.
Yes, and I'm grateful you did that for him.
Doesn't mean I have to remember the food.
Yes. So octopus is weird because it's not really the same kind of flesh as a vertebrae, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the same protein structures like beef, pork, chicken. Like you know how they can all shred apart super easily?
Right. Yeah.
Octopus is weird because it's not made from the same protein. It's very, for lack of a better term, gelatinous, but not gelatinous. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I would never attempt to cook octopus in my entire life because you overcook that little shit by like, I don't know, 1 microsecond, you got rubber. Undercook it a little bit, it's too chewy. It's just, no. It's like, I only exclusively eat octopus at nice restaurants where they know how to cook it, or I just get the frozen shit that's already done and you cannot overcook for the most part. But the canned stuff, I have yet to venture into. Matisse is supposed to make a pretty good tinned fish or tinned octopus. Whether it's not, I don't know. But we could always try it next week.
We can always try it.
Exactly. Or if you're really feeling interesting, I also got cockles as well, which are like little baby clams.
Excuse me?
Yeah, baby clams. Canned.
What was that word before?
Cockles. Cockles. Yes. Oh, that reminds me of a joke. Oh my god. So our good old brother Kalen.
Our brother in Christ.
Yes. When I was teaching him about pork back at our old undisclosed job, I remember I was telling him about a very famous English brand of Portuguese pork called Coburn's. Mm-hmm. But it is spelled Cockburns. So he'd be like, Cockburns? And I'm like, no, never say that. It is Coburn's. And he's like, Cockburns. And I'm like, no. He's like, cock. And I'm like, no. Coburn's, my boy. That's what it is. So, yeah. The little baby clams are called cockles.
Cockles. Cocker spaniels.
Those aren't as bad. And if you really want to feel bad, the South Carolina mascot for their football team is a gamecock.
Gamecock.
Like it's literally a fighting rooster. And they bring it out every game, and it's like, wow, a chicken. That's so terrifying.
God damn you, internet, you failed me. What was it? Was it Washington or Oregon that's known for their oysters?
Ooh, actually both of them, but I think Washington's more well known.
I thought so.
Seattle is where you can get some really nice ones.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, any wineries or breweries that would like to for us to visit them, just for an excuse for me to eat some more oysters, hit us up.
Or salmon, or any other thing you want us to eat.
God, I fucking miss oysters, dude.
Especially when they're fresh, the little tiny ones.
They're so fucking good.
One is a place called Elliott's in Seattle. Bad service, great oysters.
Bad service, great oysters.
Their wine department sucks, by the way.
Man, I'm just remembering the Pike Place Market, and there's like people throwing fishes around as a gag, for the crowd. And I forgot why, but we're in line somewhere for so goddamn long, and I was watching them do it for like what felt like an hour.
I'm trying to remember, like, what did I get at Pike's Place? I think we just like went to breweries in there, and that was it. Oh, I bought some plums that I brought back. I was like scared shitless that TSA was going to take them away from me, but I'm like, they're my plums, bro. You can't take them away. And they didn't.
They didn't?
I was really thinking like, oh my God, because I'm bringing fresh produce into California, they're going to crucify me, but they didn't.
The first time I traveled out of the country, I was coming back in, and one of my friends that were there to help me, see me sent off. They're just like, oh, here's a snack in case you get hungry, and they gave me a pack of Oreos, and then I immediately forgot about it, left it in my bag, and upon entering the good old United States of America, there's just like, that question was just like, are you bringing back like blah blah blah, and I was just like, I'm sorry, this is the first time I don't quite understand the question. They're just like, do you have blah 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 and food? And I went, I have a packet of Oreos, and he's like, rolls his eyes at me. He's like, go ahead. It's like, that's not what I meant. You can have a fucking pack of Oreos, you idiot.
He's talking about bringing back cheese or shit like that.
Yeah. I love it so much. I was like, I'm sorry, but now I know.
Hey, what can you expect? It's like, dude, you've never been out of the country. That's as simple as that,
I was like, man, this packet of Oreos is really going to get me in trouble.
I know, right? Sneaking little, I don't know, drugs in that little pack of Oreos.
In case anyone's wondering what Irish Oreos taste like, exactly the same.
Irish Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Were you 21 yet?
No.
Did you have a Guinness?
I was in a bar, but I don't think I drank. Oh,
then maybe I'm not as jealous then. I was like, to have a Guinness in Ireland is a goal of mine. I love Guinness.
Yes. I was underage because after that trip, I did turn of age. And because of reasons I won't get into, I drink a lot.
Well, again, we don't drink enough that we enjoy whiskey.
Yeah, that much you guys saw firsthand.
I would rather not drink than drink whiskey, TBH.
All right. Well, that's the show.
I think it was a damn great show.
I would say so. If you have any feedback and or would love to see anything on the future table, any games or wines or any other of the sort that you'd like to mention on the show, that is podcast@speaky.net. That email is also good for any of our winery or brewery or spirits friends that would like to hook us up and or, invite us over to your magical place of making.
Precisely. Oh, and also, it's not necessary, but the tipping is at
ko-fi.com/corks and controllers. Completely optional, but very appreciated. That will go towards the show, whatever ends up on this table.
Correct.
Or Victor's fast track bill. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All the beautiful trips up there. Actually, no, I don't have any trips planned up there. I think maybe October, maybe.
Oh, let's fix that.
Yeah, right. I know, right? Let's have a company trip for Corks and Controllers. Let's go on a press tour.
Press tour. All right. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.